This is the Barbados Today afternoon news for Monday, April 30th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Today is the deadline for filing income tax returns. Barbadians have been lining up from early this morning to file on time, and Revenue Commissioner Margaret Sivers says the deadline will not be extended. As Barbados prepares to observe the annual May Day celebrations tomorrow, the umbrella trade union body says any turnaround in the economy must start in the pockets of workers. The General Secretary of the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, CITUSAB, Dennis DePisa, is also suggesting that the top priority has to be breaking the decades-long drought for increases in wages and salaries. He also lamented that a contraction of employment in some sections of the private sector has resulted in the decline in membership, in trade union membership, and a threat to their status as representative voice. DePisa is cautioning that these together constitute a threat to the very existence of the collective bargaining unit and mechanism. Culture Minister Stephen Lashley is calling for more festivals as the island seeks to grow its cultural industry. Lashley was speaking yesterday on the sidelines of the annual Reggae on the Hill festival. He also called on the private sector to partner with organizers in that venture.
We've been talking about having a Bridgetown Arts Festival, and that is something I want to invite the private sector to come and partner with us on. There's an excellent market out there for bringing back jazz and also bringing other elements of music and celebrate our historic Bridgetown in a big way. So we are hoping to do that through the Barbados Culture Industries Development Authority. But I'm making a call for private sector partners to be on board on this, because the more festivals we have, the more economic activity we can generate, the more artists we can expose. And of course, the person who says in Barbados we have too many festivals, I don't really share that view. I think we have a melting pot for excellent artistic talent, and I really want to see Barbados move ahead and become the mecca within the Western Hemisphere for everything artistic. We are seeking to move the culture industries into being a bigger player in terms of our economy. We need to generate more economic activity, and I know that, you know that, when we have the Reggae Festival, people go into town and they shop. We can have other festivals that will help to generate that spend. I hear the stores in Bridgetown saying that things are down, but in order for things to be more active and for them to make more money without in any way endangering our foreign reserves and so on, we need to generate more activity that is locally produced.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
One night, one winner, only one team can deliver balanced, comprehensive, unrivaled coverage. Barbados Today, Capital Media HD 99.3 and 6 Gear Studios. Don't miss election night on www.facebook.com/Barbados Today, on www.barbadostoday.bb, live on www.capitalmediahd.com, and on www.facebook.com/Capital Media HD.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Police commissioners from across the Caribbean began 4 days of talks in Jamaica today on the implications of crime in the region's growth and development. Assistant Superintendent of Police Dahlia Garrick says 25 member countries are represented at the meeting. Ministers of Security and Tourism, as well as social development agencies, are also attending the discussions. The government of Haiti has condemned an incident on the weekend that left one journalist dead and several other people wounded. It occurred as legislators were holding a news conference to discuss allegations of corruption in the Petro-Caribe funds. A statement from the Prime Minister offered condolences to the journalist Jacques Dubois and wished a speedy recovery to the wounded. On the international scene, 9 journalists were among 26 people killed in the Afghan capital, Kabul, today. They were apparently targeted by a suicide bomber after they arrived to report on an initial blast. We get more in this Reuters report.
A deadly blast in the Afghan capital, Kabul, on Monday. And then, when journalists arrived at the scene, a second explosion. At least 21 people are reported to have died in the 2 rush-hour blasts, for which there has, so far, been no claim of responsibility. French news agency AFP confirmed on Twitter that its chief photographer in Kabul, Shah Marai, was among those killed. A number of other photographers and cameramen also reportedly killed or injured. The attacks come just a week after a blast at a voter registration centre in the capital killed 60 people, in the wake of warnings by security officials that there is an increasing risk of attacks ahead of parliamentary elections in October. Taliban militants, fighting to restore their strict interpretation of Islamic law to Afghanistan, announced their usual spring offensive last week. And there has been heavy fighting in several areas of the country since.
And finally, dozens of migrants traveling in a caravan to seek asylum in the United States have been stopped at the border. U.S. border officials told some 150 people, many of whom were traveling with children, that the Mexico-U.S. border crossing was already full. We get more in this Reuters report.
An arduous month-long journey comes to an uncertain end for Central Americans hoping to find a new home in the United States, now waiting outside the gates. At one point numbering over 1,000, the so-called caravan of migrants who say they're fleeing violence and persecution from El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala rode buses, hitchhiked, and even walked toward the U.S. border, traveling together for safety. Some tried to report to U.S. border authorities to make asylum claims, but officials said the facility is full. About 50 spent the night outside the port of entry, while 100 more rolled out towels and blankets to sleep on concrete in a Mexican square. On Sunday, supporters of the caravan rallied near the barrier between the 2 countries, with some scaling and sitting astride the wall. Reuters correspondent Mike Blake is on the U.S. side of the border.
The caravan, who's traveled through Mexico from Central America, has now reached the side of the border in Mexico, and a group who have marched up from Los Angeles is greeting them on the north side.
The group drew the ire of U.S. President Donald Trump, who demanded Mexico stop them.
I can say that Donald Trump has no heart, but maybe God will help him see his heart a little bit, seeing so many children.
American attorneys told the group asylum seekers could face detention, long periods of forced separation from their families, and deportation if their claims were rejected. But for some, many mothers with small children and transgender individuals, it's worth the risk.
And that's news this afternoon. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. And you can now sign up for Barbados Today's WhatsApp news alerts. Visit our website, www.barbadostoday.bb, for instructions. I am Mary Claire Williams. Good afternoon.